What's good, YouTube? We back here today. I'm here to talk about the preview of the SEC championship between Alabama and Georgia. And then first I'm gonna give my prediction for all the conference championship this week. Got a lot of big games. We got a few tonight, so should be good. Now let's start with the UTSA versus Western Kentucky. Now, I honestly haven't watched Western Kentucky this year, so I don't know how to play. I watched UTSA a few times. I watched them last week lose, but if I had to give my opinion, I'd say UTSA would probably win in a close game. But honestly, I really haven't watched Western Kentucky this year, to be honest with you, so I can't really give you a judgment on that. But another big one tonight is Oregon versus Utah for the Pac-12 championship. Most likely the winner of this will go on to go on to face somebody in the Rose Bowl. Last time these two teams met literally a few weeks ago, Oregon got demolished. Oh, my phone fell. Oregon got demolished. It was a pretty lopsided game. I didn't expect Oregon to go out like that. I did expect Oregon to lose, but I didn't expect them to get blown out. Honestly, in my opinion, I honestly didn't think Oregon was a top 3 team to begin with before any of this happened. I just felt like they was a placeholder anyway. I don't feel like Oregon is really good, but tonight I think it'd be a much more competitive game. I don't know if Utah had that much of an explosive offense tonight, but I honestly think Utah still win, but I think it'll be a closer game. I think Utah probably win, I'll say probably by a field goal probably by a field goal. But Utah, I expect them to win a close game. Utah, they start out the season shaky, but they really come on at the end. Oregon, to be honest, I guess you can say kind of like Alabama, but Alabama is Alabama though. But Oregon has struggled with some teams that you wouldn't see them struggle with. They lost to Stanford, who's been terrible this year, but Oregon I don't know, their offense is kind of shaky. They're a run-heavy offense. You don't know what they're going to get week to week, but I expect Utah to win the close game. And, all right, let's scroll on down to the MAC championship. Now, I honestly haven't watched Kent State. I watched Northern Illinois because they usually play either on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Now, Northern Illinois look pretty good. I haven't watched Kent State this year, so I'm expecting Northern Illinois to pull this one off. I don't know how competitive this game will be, but that's one of the games most likely I will not be tuning into because it's at 11 a.m. and I'm most likely be watching the Big 12 championship. So let's get into the Big 12 championship. Well, actually, I'll get to the small one first, the Sun Belt. Now, I watched ULL because I've been to a few games this year for ULL. ULL is not a bad team. Them versus Appalachian State, I did see them pull off the upset versus, was it Coastal Carolina earlier this year? But to be honest, I haven't watched them since. I expect ULL to pull this off. Honestly, if ULL played Texas at the end of the season this year, they might have beat Texas, but they played them early in the season against Texas. That's their only blemish record-wise. So, honestly, I expect ULL to win this probably by at least 2 scores, but it might be a very, very good competitive game. But now next, let's get on to the Mountain West Championship. This one, I expect San Diego State, honestly. They're only a 6-point favorite, but I honestly expect San Diego State to win this handily over Utah State. I watched San Diego State the last few weeks, and even though they switched quarterbacks last week, came in, gave them a spark against Boise State, I honestly think San Diego State to win this handily. But now let's get into the American Atlantic Conference championship between Houston and Cincinnati. Now, this game could either go one way. Cincinnati dominates, so it's going to be competitive. But in my honest book, I honestly think Houston can pull this off. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but Houston hasn't looked bad this whole season. But they got, one loss? I'm pretty sure, was it the SMU? I honestly don't remember who they lost to, but Houston hasn't looked bad all season. Cincinnati, of course, they're undefeated. They had some little shaky games down the road. Last week, they got a good win versus East Carolina. They escaped Tulsa like the week before that. If Tulsa didn't fumble, well, first of all, they got stopped on the 3-yard line. They would have scored, but dude fumbled the ball. Then they got down on 4th down. Dude fumbled the ball again in the end zone. Then that was the game. They could have easily lost that. But honestly, Cincinnati, I say they'll win by a field goal. But honestly, I honestly want to lean towards Houston. But something just tells me Cincinnati. This is just their year to make the playoffs. So I hope they make. I hope they get in it just because I want to see a non-Power 5 team to get in the playoffs. But at the same time, I'm trying to see somebody else get in the playoffs because I honestly don't know how dominant Cincinnati will be. Because Cincinnati, either if Michigan loses or Alabama loses, then most likely they'll have to play the 2 seed. But if Alabama wins, Cincinnati could be in a deeper trouble because honestly, you either got to play Georgia or you got to play Alabama, and I don't know. I mean, they did have a competitive game with Georgia last year, but this is a totally different team, totally different Georgia team. JT Daniels wasn't starting. Honestly, I think JT Daniels is the best quarterback for Georgia, but this is my honest opinion as a pure passer. But let's get into the next one, the Big Ten championship. Now, Michigan and Iowa. This could be a little defensive struggle game, but honestly, I just think Michigan has way more offensive firepower. Iowa has struggled on offense all season. I expect this game to be a little close game through the second quarter, but then I think the run game of Michigan will finally take over in the second half. And all the Iowa games that I watched, they honestly haven't had a lot of offense. I watched last week versus Nebraska. Honestly, I'm not impressed. Nebraska just finds a way to lose every week. I honestly don't get it, bro. They can be up, what, it was up like 28 or 21-9 or something like that, threw the game away, let Iowa come back. That's literally the trend with Nebraska, but I honestly expect Michigan to win this probably I'll say by 17, because I honestly don't think Iowa has enough offense, but it is my honest opinion. Now let's get into the Big 12 championship. Now this would be a big game for the playoff committee. Baylor versus Oklahoma State. Honestly, my heart wants me to lean towards Baylor, but I think Oklahoma State will pull this out in a close game. But honestly, my phone vibrating. But honestly, Oklahoma State versus Baylor. Now they played early in the season. Oklahoma State was at home. They pulled it out. But honestly, I feel like it's a neutral site game. Baylor defense, Oklahoma State defense, they're both going to battle through it out. But if I had to choose an offense that's going to pull through in the end, I'm going to have to choose Oklahoma State, even though their offense is not really consistent throughout the season. But I kind of expect Sanders just to make a play for them to win the game. But honestly, this game could go either way. Baylor, I mean, they're a very good team, but honestly, if they never got their loss versus TCU, this could be a totally different game, totally different game for them. But honestly, they still can find a way into the playoffs. But if they never lost to TCU, this could be a whole totally different thing for them. They could easily, guaranteed, get in if they won this game. But they're gonna need a little help now if they beat Oklahoma State. But I honestly think Oklahoma State, I think they'll slip away at the end. They'll find a way to win with Sanders at quarterback. But watch out for Baylor, though. Watch out for that run game. I won't be surprised. And now we got the ACC championship between Pittsburgh and Wake Forest. Now, this I expect to be a shootout. I expect to at least be 90 points combined between the two. But I'm honestly picking Pittsburgh because Wake Forest can't play defense. We've seen this throughout the season. They can just score points. But they can't stop nobody. You seen them versus North Carolina. God dang. You seen them versus North Carolina. They're putting up 50-something points, but they can't stop nobody. I think North Carolina, I want to say they almost scored 70, or they did score 70. They literally can't stop nobody. And you seen them versus Clemson. Finally played a elite defense. They really didn't do anything, but I think Pickett will make a lot of plays in the second half, and I think they'll pull away from Wake Forest. But that could easily be a high-scoring game, and you don't know which way it can go. But if I had to choose somebody's going to get a stop, it's going to be Pittsburgh, because I know Wake Forest is not going to get a stop. And I'm pretty sure that's every championship game. Yeah, nobody cares about USC versus California. They got moved back because it got canceled early in the season. But now it's time to get into the real show. Alabama versus Georgia. Now, I've been waiting for this game for the last 3 weeks. But honestly, my opinion changed about this game. Honestly, at first, I was like, we may not have a chance. Georgia just looked like the most complete team. But honestly, these last 3 weeks have changed my perspective, especially from our defense. Last week, well, the week of Arkansas, our defense just was kind of shaky. Burks was killing us. KJ Jefferson was killing us. But I don't know if I know Stetson Bennett can make plays. Don't get me wrong, Stetson Bennett can make plays, but I don't know. I haven't seen Stetson Bennett in a close game this year. Now, from last year when we played Alabama to this year, he's very much improved passer. He's made more plays with his legs, but honestly, I don't know if Stetson Bennett's that guy, but I don't know. If they run on us, then they win the game. Georgia win the game easily. If Georgia runs the ball on us, they win the game easily. But the thing that I'm kind of frustrated with, everybody's talking about Georgia defense versus Alabama offense, but Alabama's defense, even though they had a few shaky times this year, the defense is underrated this year. They're literally 7th nationally overall in defense. They're third, or it's either second or third in the SEC in stopping the run. They're only allowing 82 yards rushing per game. Like this Alabama defense is not as bad as people think it is. And I think they honestly line up perfectly for the way this Georgia defense is built. Now, the only thing that scares me from this game is, well, for Georgia's offense, is Bowers, that tight end. And then you got James Cook coming out of the backfield. Because I still get a headache, even though Alabama won last year in Tuscaloosa versus Georgia. I still get a headache from watching Christian Harris have to cover James Cook out of the backfield. That little wheel route he beat him on, I want to say it was the second quarter last year. Stetson Bennett threw a bomb to him. He ran it for a touchdown. I think it was like 75 yards. Then the little angle route. James Cook is a very, very good third down back. And he might play more plays this game because they might have to beat us with the pass. Because honestly, I think our defense will step up for to the run game. Now, Dallas Turner has really been coming on these last few games, especially last week versus Auburn. Y'all know Will Anderson. The secondary for Alabama, the safeties, Jordan Battle and Brian Branch have really, really come on. The cornerback position, I guess you can say, is shaky, but Kool-Aid has really come on. I don't expect Armour Davis to play because Nick Saban said if he's not full speed, he's not playing him. So I think they'll be without Armour Davis this game. I think Brian Robinson will play, but he's not going to play a lot. I think he'll honestly be what you want to call it? God, what's the word? Emergency. If he's needed, he'll be an emergency running back. So I honestly think Trey Sanders will get the start. He'll get most of the plays unless something happens to Trey Sanders. Then I think Brian Robinson or Leary will come in there running back. But I honestly, 3 weeks ago, I would have told you I think Georgia beats us by 17. I'm going with my heart. You can say bias, whatever, but I think Alabama pulls this out and wins by 10. Honestly. I honestly do. I think Nick Saban, Alabama, I think our center position, I think our center will be back this week. George, now I was very disappointed in George last week, but there was a rumor out there that he had an ankle sprain. Now I can see it because dude wasn't moving off the ball whatsoever. But if Owens has to come in the game, if he play like he did in that fourth quarter against Auburn, then I can deal with Owens being out there. But if Alabama runs the ball to the left side and they throw the ball at least 40 to 45 times, I think Alabama will win. I think Jamison Williams will have a big game. If the lineups out there is Jamison Williams, John Mechie in the slot, and Brooks or Holden, and then you can throw Bolden in out there a little bit, I like Alabama chances. I honestly think that the offensive line will be improved. Now, I'm not saying we're going to dominate, but I honestly think they still going to get pressure on us. But I don't think they're going to get as much pressure with 4-down linemen as people think. I think if they send more, they'll have success. But I honestly think Bill O'Brien will come out and a little bit more 5 wide this week. Empty backfield for Bryce Young. Just let Bryce Young be Bryce Young. That's honestly, if that's the recipe for Saturday, I honestly like Alabama's chances. But this will be a very, very competitive game. It's not going to be a blowout like most people think. This game can go either way. It's either going to be a Georgia beatdown or it's going to be a competitive game, and Alabama pulls it out late. I trust Nick Saban. I can't believe I'm saying this. I trust Pete Golden. I still don't know if I can trust Bill O'Brien, but it's not all Bill O'Brien. It's Bill O'Brien / the offensive line. Not like I don't know, but I got Alabama winning. Let's see the big conference championship games. I got Utah by 3, Alabama by 10, Oklahoma State by a touchdown. What else? Pittsburgh. I say they pull it out by 14. And Oregon, Utah. We don't really care about Oregon, Utah, honestly. That conference is done until Lincoln Riley comes over there and take over. But I think Utah still pull that out again. But honestly, I'm ready for these championship games. We got 2 of them tonight. I'm not watching the first one. I'm honestly not watching the first. I'm watching Oregon versus Utah. Then I'm going to watch LeBron's finally back. So I'm going to watch that tonight. But I hope y'all have a blessed day. Y'all be on the lookout. Bryce Young, Will Anderson. I think Phil Mathis will have a big day tomorrow. And I honestly think Jameson Williams is finna show the world who's the better receiver at Ohio State. They just didn't put him on the field. But I hope y'all have a blessed day. Hope y'all still staying away from COVID because it's really ramping back up. They just not talking about it. We have more deaths and all that crap. They just not talking about it, bro. But I hope y'all have a blessed day. And peace and roll tide, baby.